Welcome, beautiful Paris Saint-Germain family, for another Q&A. Listen, I know international break is boring, and that's why I'm bringing you guys this entertaining and hopefully a bit informative Q&A. Let's jump straight into it. First question here from Mo. What is your favorite Paris Saint-Germain game? My favorite PSG game has to be the battle at the bridge. 2-2. You got Ibra red card. You got two last minute winners from Paris Saint-Germain, from Thiago Silva and David Luiz. Definitely my favorite Paris Saint-Germain game. Which club has the worst fan base from Panther here? Easy. There are a lot of bad fan bases. I do dislike the Madrid and Barca fan base a lot, and I guess you're pointing at the Barca fan base, but I would probably say it's inside of the Premier League. I mean, I hate the Premier League so much, and the fan bases are one big reason for it. And it has to be between United and Arsenal, I would say. I used to hate Liverpool's a lot, but they've got humbled in the recent years, so they're not as ass as they used to be. So I'm gonna go with United, definitely. They have the worst fan base in the world. Your favorite FT account from Every Fanbase? I mean, PSG has to be myself, PSGINT. Madrid, I'm gonna go with, I don't know what he calls himself now, but I'm gonna go with Upaghetti. I think that's his name now, the German dude. Because he's, like, I've known him for a long time. It's been him, like, Floperes, that guy, Flopez second, that guy for Madrid. Barca, between Hamoud and Avad. A3 Vad, that guy. Bayern. That guy that has Mario Gomez. I like him, and then probably like a viewer as well. No name FCB. City probably. I mean, Erling Roll. I mean, he's very cringe, so I'm not gonna choose him. I'm gonna go with Clinical Kev. Should Colomani start over Ramos? I like this debate, this competition, not just inside of the locker room and on the pitch, but in the fan base's mind. I don't have a choice between them. I like both. I want this competition, and I don't think 10 games in so far into the season that we know who should be the starter, in my opinion. Would you support if you couldn't support PSG? If the FBI came now and told me you cannot support PSG anymore, I would stop supporting a football club. It's PSG or nothing. It's PSG or nothing. Which goal hurt you more? KDB against you in 15-16 or KDB against you in 2021? I mean, 15-16, I guess you're talking about the one in the second tie. Probably, yeah, I didn't get that much hurt because, like, we were just not playing the best football, and City at that, in those two games, I think that, yeah, they deserve to go through. They played better football. They were more professional than us. Even though both teams missed penalties from Aguero and Ibra, I must still say City, played a bit better and more serious and professional in that tie. But I mean, the KDB against us, I mean, that pure fucking cross, man. We just gave you, like, we were cooking you guys at the back, and then we gave you a free goal. Then we gave you another free goal from that Mahrez free kick. So definitely the second KDB goal. Which formation do you personally believe is the best? 4-2-4, 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1. Again, I think it's way too early into the season to say something like this, but I definitely believe it's a throw at the back and a double pivot. We've never played 4-3-3. We've played 4-2-4 with Vitinha sometimes tucking in defensively as a midfielder, but we've only played a 4-2-4 this season. So I believe the formation it's a 4 at the back with a double pivot, and then the attack rests itself off. If you want Dembele as the 10, if you want him there, I don't really care. For me, as long as 4 defenders and a double pivot, I'm good and I'm happy. PSG first Champions League or Algeria World Cup? I mean, I'm PSG, I'm a PSG channel, but I'm gonna have to go with Algeria World Cup. Obviously, that's much less likely to happen, and surprisingly enough, I love my country more than I love my club. Have you ever been to Canada? What are your thoughts on Canada? I've never been to Canada. My thoughts on Canada, from the small stuff I know, it's a very beta-esque country. It's very similar to Sweden. Like, I live in Sweden. Canada is like a Scandinavian country. A lot of homosexual, LGBTQ stuff, a lot of immigrants, all of that. So, yeah, just the same. And I don't like Sweden, so I don't think I would like Canada either. Who do you think is better, Jude or Pedri? Who I think is a better player? Obviously, Pedri. I mean, Jude. Come on, man, Jude. This conversation is funny. But yeah, obviously Pedri, obviously. I think 4-1 loss against Newcastle was because of wrong tactic, and when Enrique does it right, PSG will win. I think Newcastle got... You know, if you came to me before the game and said, what would be the absolute worst circumstances that could happen during the game? And that's exactly what we saw. 2 gifted goals, us being unclinical in front of goal. And look, I'm gonna give props to Newcastle. They deserve to win, but were they that amazing? No. And tactically, sure, like with the lineup, he could have played Vitinha and it would definitely have been better. Even Barcola instead of Kolomani. But I put most of the blame on the attackers losing the ball and not creating anything. Why are you openly homophobic, racist, and child abuser? Well, I'm not racist and I'm not openly racist. Child abuser? I'm not a child abuser. And homophobic? Yeah, I don't see an issue with being homophobic. If you're Islamophobic or again, I have no issue with you. Like when they go into detail, like what they feel about the Prophet and my God, then it's something different. But if they just want to say I dislike Islam, I think it's made up, you can believe that. I have absolutely no problem to you. I would absolutely no problem. And I feel you should have the same for me. If I say I believe that gay people, all the LGBTQ community, if I say they are mentally ill, deluded people, you shouldn't have an issue with me. You shouldn't have an issue with me. It's that simple. Why are you such a... all the time? I mean, I don't know what it is. Will Kolomani be PSG's top scorer? No, absolutely no. Watchalong, Inacio, and Antonio Silva. Also, should we consider Javi Guerra as the Ugarte backup? I don't know who this Javi Guerra is, so I'm not going to talk about it, but I would love a backup for Ugarte. And if Javi Guerra is that guy, let's bring him to the pack. But between Watchalong, Inacio, and Antonio Silva, obviously the price tag is much cheaper for Inacio with his release clause. Even his updated release clause is much lower than Antonio Silva's 100 million release clause. But if we're going for a player that's, you know, it's a pure ass center back, I'm going Antonio Silva. But I love both. I would love to see one of them at the pack next season. BBC or BBL? What's BBL? Black bitches lights? What? Bad bitches. No, BBL. Isn't that like what the women put in, like a BBL? I don't know, man. Not BBC. What's a better career outside of a rigged World Cup? Pessy. Next January, who do you hope PSG will sign? I mean, look, if you're putting it down to me, hoping, not anything realistic, I'm obviously go with Enzo Fernandez. How Barcelona Football Club became our dogs. I mean, it was simple. PSG, you know, you gotta be honest, came up from nowhere with the Qatari money. And Barca were like, this is no competition. But PSG came on and absolutely dominated them. Took their three best players, 3 best attackers, apart from Suarez in this generation. Kept Verratti from them and owned them so many times. That 4-1, the most recent one, just shows why PSG has elevated above Barca. Punis reveal, never. Why do you want Mbappe out of the club? I want Mbappe out of the club because I don't like building everything around a player, especially a player that's so smart like Kylian Mbappe, because he manipulates Nasser, the PSG board, and the PSG fans most of all, to believe that he's in here for his legacy rather than the power and the money. And I don't like that. I don't like lying and manipulating. So that's the issues I have with Kylian Mbappe. Individually, he's an amazing player. He's the best player in the world. But again, a huge fat but. I don't like us doing everything for one guy. That's not how a club is built or run. Who hurt PSG more, Bedbug or Pessi? I guess you're meaning Mbappe. Obviously Pessi. Come on, like you know, I'm one of the biggest PSG fans that dislike Mbappe. Well, it's definitely Pessi. When we drop the Bellingham agenda, it's not an agenda. And for everybody that says, oh, is it because he went to Real and didn't go to PSG or something? No, I've been saying this when he was at Dortmund. He's just not that good of a player. He's not good of a player. He doesn't have that big of a skill set. And him scoring goals doesn't change that. Can we rank the best PSG season since KSI takeover? Whoa, that's a big question. You know what? I'm gonna put 17, 18 at the top. Then I'm gonna go 15, 16. Then I'm gonna go 19, 20. Then I'm gonna go Then I'm gonna go 18-19. Then I'm gonna go 14-15. Then I'm gonna go 2021. Then I'm gonna go last season. And then I'm gonna go 13-14, then 12-13. Will PSG win the league this season? 100%. Favorite club in Saudi? I haven't picked a favorite club in Saudi yet. I mean, there's Al Hilal, Al Ahli, Al Ittihad, Al Nasser. There are a lot of great teams, and I haven't chosen one. I like to enjoy all of them together at the moment. Maybe I will choose one in the coming future. If your country is getting invaded, would you flee to other countries to stay and fight? Algeria? I mean, it depends what the war and all of that is about. I'm not gonna sacrifice my life if like the leader of our country has done something stupid. For example, if Sweden gets invaded, I'm not fighting. I love Sweden. I love the Swedish people, but I'm not gonna put my life because we have some corrupt regime in Sweden that for some reason want to ally themselves with Ukraine just for sympathetic reasons. But when it comes to Algeria, I don't think they would start an illogical war. So if it is a logical war, I would definitely stay and fight 100%. More important, Neymar and Mbappe in the 2017-2021 era before Messi came and ruined everything was the most important. I'm gonna probably have to say Neymar because, well, first season of Mbappe, didn't score and all of that. I mean, he didn't have that much power and maturity. Second season when Neymar got injured, I mean, Mbappe carried us in league and when Neymar got injured, but didn't do anything Champions League when he was fit. Then obviously season after that we went to the Champions League final, but Mbappe was unluckily injured for the knockout stages, so didn't have that big of an impact. Was Neymar did. And then the season after, it was like a bit more Mbappe. Champion, he had that Barca game. Obviously the Bayern games it was Neymar, but Mbappe still scored in those games. And then City, Mbappe was injured for the second leg. No, important. That's a great question because I think it's very tight. I'm gonna edge Neymar, but it's extremely tight. It's extremely tight. Great question. Why is Tunisia winning the AFCON? I mean, they won't. I mean, they're a good contender, but I'm predicting an Algeria-Morocco, a political final for the ages. Do you rate Dembele and how important is he to the team? He's extremely important. I mean, pretty much all of our goals are coming up that right-hand side with him and Ashraf Hakimi. And we've seen Hakimi without Dembele. But we've seen Dembele with Hakimi. So yeah, Dembele is pretty much third, fourth most important player in the team. And I rate him very highly. He's just very inconsistent and very inefficient in front of goal. But that's his only two weaknesses. If you have to support one club except PSG, must name another club. I mean, if you want to put it like that, I'm just supporting my local team, AEK. Is Mbappe alright? Yeah. Neymar and Mbappe, PSG career-wise. Well, who's a better player? Neymar. I mean, that's not a hard question. Who do you think has proved themselves this season from last year's squad? I mean, it has to be probably Vitinha, Warren, Zara, Emre, 100%. Vitinha, Warren, Zara, Emre. They were the players that last season, you know, we're not seen as starters or anything, but now they're seen as certified starters. So yeah, I'm happy to. What PSG team are you taking to push for the rest of your life if you had to? A season.
Absolutely
not. Probably 17-18. 17-18. How does it feel getting owned every year in the Champions League? Not good, embarrassing, disgusting. But I guess that's part of supporting a club, especially Paris Saint-Germain in its beginning of their quest of winning the Champions League. So, do I regret being a PSG fan for this time? Absolutely no. Absolutely no. I would actually say it's made me into a much stronger PSG fan because I've gone through those hardships with PSG. You think PSG is better in the 4-3-3 formation for? I believe Paris Saint-Germain, who have played the 4-2-4 formation this entire season. I think that's the best formation we have seen so far from Paris Saint-Germain. But I do believe that the left-sided attacker should be Vitinha because he gives us the best attributes that we want of that left-hand side. And his link up with Kylian Mbappe on the left-hand side is better than what we've seen from Barcola and Colomani. Would you pick Karan if it meant PSG win the Champions League? Yeah, I can do that. Did you start watching football? I started watching football, like supporting a club in 2012. Then I saw some, games like at the 2010 World Cup. So probably 2010. That's the earliest memories I have of watching a football game. Go to the Parc des Princes and EFS at which match? I was last year in Paris in the beginning of the season. I went to the Parc for like a tour, the Parc des Princes tour. But then the first game obviously was played in Tel Aviv, the Trophée du Champion, so I could not watch that game. And the first game of Ligue 1 was against Clermont away, which was like a 2-3 hour train away from Paris. I wanted to take it, but all the tickets were booked. So unfortunately, that time when I was in Paris, I could not watch a PSG game. But I have been at the Parc des Princes. There's even a video on the channel of me being at the Parc. I think it's the best player in the world in terms of current form. I don't think there is anybody that I would say is the best player in the world on current form. Like a clear winner. I think they're probably tight ones, but I don't think there is anybody to pick. Now that I think about it, I don't think there has been a best player in the world so far this season in Europe's top 5 leagues. I definitely believe so. I don't think there has been an outstanding candidate to be called the best player so far this season. Top 5 favorite PSG players of all time. Ibra number 1. Thiago Silva number 2, Marco Verratti number 3, Neymar number 4, Thiago Motta Maxwell number 5. What are your thoughts on Luis Enrique so far, and how far do you think PSG can do in the Champions League under him? My thoughts so far with Luis Enrique is he's very charismatic. He has a personality unlike some certain managers we've had before. He has his style. He wants to play his style. We see it clearly, which is a very good thing. One thing I dislike about him is everything he says in the press conferences can just be thrown out because he's capping most of the time, mostly to defend himself, to defend his teammate, to defend the management, which is a great thing when you actually think about it. And yes, I have good hopes for this upcoming season in the Champions League with Luis Enrique as our manager, 100%. The Travis most for 100 million will keep him. Keep him. Look, ever since he came back from PSV to Paris Saint-Germain, he's a legend already. Do you watch any other sport than football? I'm trying to become a fan of basketball, a supporter of basketball. So I'm watching basketball, a bit more NBA. That's about it. That's about it. What if someone poked his meat inside? It will be poked. I don't know. I'll probably turn away. Probably just turn away. I wouldn't even want to hit it. If he comes close, I'm gonna hit it with my foot. Why am I the greatest YouTuber? I mean, you can't be the greatest YouTuber, obviously, because I am the greatest YouTuber. But I mean, I could give you a cheeky second place. No problem with that. And why you are the second greatest YouTuber? Obviously, no. You know what? Honestly, I don't know that much. I don't know that much. Can you shout me out trying to reach 100 followers? Well, people, follow Football Media 23 PSG through the best. If you could live with one PSG player, who would it be? Current PSG player I could live with. I would probably say Vitinha. There is no big personality like previous seasons, like the Neymar and Verrattis and so on, and Ibra, Thiago Silva and all of that. So I'll probably choose Vitinha. Similar age, and I think he's a really, really good person. At what stage is PSG getting knocked out? Group stage, round of 16. Yeah. We're not getting knocked out this season. Kind of saw it coming. How do you think a Champions League knockout round versus Arsenal will go? Ooh. Yeah. Let's say the first game is at Arsenal Stadium. I think it becomes a very tight game. I could see it even going to like a draw or a narrow PSG win. So obviously like a 2-2. And then at the back, I see us winning 3-1. For the dark horses of the Champions League this year, the issue here is, what is a dark horse? Can Inter Milan be counted as a dark horse? I don't think so, because they reached the final last year and they have a really good squad. I mean, they're a contender, not really a dark horse. So dark horse, I mean, probably Arsenal. They're gonna top their group most probably, at least go to the quarterfinals, and they're not that good. So I'll probably say Arsenal is the dark horse. Which fan base is worse, Barca or Madrid? I think it depends on period. Sometimes, especially me as a PSG fan, like Madrid fan base is at its worst when There only talks about Mbappe in the media, like during the summer. Then it's Madrid. Barca, it's like after some good results, they think they are the best team in the world, and then get knocked out in the group stage. So I'd say it's time period. Sometimes Madrid fans are worse. Sometimes the Barca fans are the worst. At the moment, I mean, Barca fans were piping up a lot, but Joao Felix goals drying up and draw to Granada and so on has made them a bit more humbled. So I would probably say maybe at the moment, maybe a bit Madrid fans are the worst. Do you think we'll win the league, and what position do you think we'll place to reach in the Champions League? Yes, I definitely think we'll win the league, and I believe we'll reach at least the semi-final of the Champions League. Why almost all football fans hate PSG? I'm a PSG fan, and sometimes I hate football because of this matter. Football fans hate PSG because we're so different. If there's a classroom with 20 white people, one black kid comes in, I'm not saying they're gonna hate him, but they're gonna look at him in a different way. Why? Because he's different. This is a normal thing among humans, and PSG, if you compare us to every other club, we're extremely different. And we buy the best players in the world. We say a lot. We act so-called arrogant and so on when it's just pure ass confidence, and people don't like that. That's the only reason. And you shouldn't really care what haters think. And that comes football fans, people close to you. When people say something negative, you shouldn't care about it. What made you support PSG? 3 stuff. My favorite player of all time is Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Second, family in Paris. Third, was a unique club at that time. Thoughts on Dembélé? Dembélé, I'm really happy with him to start off the season, and I'm really excited how the rest of the season is gonna look with Dembélé. Mashallah. Thoughts on Carlos Soler performance for PSG so far? I mean, disgusting. He has a great personality. That's about it. How do you feel to be the only person in the class to know who PSG was? No, a lot of people in my class were new. Like, I remember I had a Chelsea fan friend, Barca fans friends, and we were always talking about when PSG faced them in the Champions League and so on. So no, I was definitely not the only person who knew what PSG was. Drop the Bellingham agenda. It's not an agenda. It's a factual matter. Why is PSG finished? We are not finished. Why on earth is Arnau Tenas and Kurzawa not starting? Also, still upset that Pembele got sold. They had so much potential. So you're talking about the Dembele right-hand side potential? Kurzawa obviously is not starting, and Tenas, I think he should be getting some minutes. I'm really interested in his profile. Who's your favorite PSG player, and why is it Carlos Soler? My favorite PSG player at the moment this season, Ugarte, Vitinha. You know what? I'm gonna go with somebody that hasn't played. Nuno Mendes. Because I've seen a lot of Nuno disrespect recently, and I don't like it. So I'm gonna go with Nuno. Haaland or Højlund? Most hurt for scoreline. 6-1 losing Champions League final. As I've always said, the Champions League final didn't hurt me as much as people think. I know it was the first Champions League final and all of that, but I got in so much enjoyment and dopamine from the comeback versus Dortmund, from the Atalanta game, from the Leipzig game, that I didn't really expect that much in the Champions League final. And I know that sounds bad. We've gone far. But between them, obviously 6-1. What surprised you the most for me? It's been Vitinha being elite this year. I don't think Vitinha has surprised me. I mean, I've always rated him. I was pretty much the only guy on the podcast last year to prop Vitinha, to say he's that guy, he's him. And I got cooked. But now I'm right. And I'm happy about that. But I even think he's been like performing at 11 a bit better than what I expected. Apart from Vitinha, Warren Zara Emre, I was one of his biggest critiquers in the beginning of the season, even saying that I believe he's overhyped inside of Paris Saint-Germain fan base. But in the last 2 recent games and some performances, especially the Newcastle game, oh my days, he's in. So I'm gonna say them two. Who's your Mbappe replacement? If Mbappe leaves, I'm gonna go with Rafael Leao or Victor Osimhen and play Xavi off the left. If you could choose one of those players, Musiala, Jude, Pedri, who would you choose for PSG to sign? I would have always chosen Pedri, but because of his injury stuff, I'm gonna have to go with Musiala. But if we remove injuries and so on, I'm gonna go with Pedri. Jude, no, stop. Top 5 biggest club of all time according to you. So, all right, you know what? I'm gonna be unbiased. No order. Real, AC Milan, Bayern München, Manchester United, and then it's tied between FC Barcelona, Liverpool, and Juventus. But just because of Pessy tax, I'm gonna go with Barca. How'd you rank as your top 5 greatest midfielder in your opinion? No order. Pirlo, Iniesta, Xavi, Verratti. Oh, I forgot Zidane, the greatest one. Will PSG go for Kefran Turam in winter? Very likely. We were negotiating or at least talking with Nice during the end of last summer transfer window, and I definitely believe we'll come back for him. Will you still support Mbappe after he leaves next summer? No, I don't support my players when they leave. They're not my players anymore. That attachment goes away. I don't care. Support Marseille or Lyon? Lyon, obviously. Do you think Mbappe 21-22 version is top 5 individual versions is history? No, but I think in recent times, yeah, it's up there, 100%. Why are you so dumb all the time? You really believe your banter club will win a Champions League? I mean, I have faith, and if you're cooking me for having faith, then there's some issue with you. How do you feel about supporting the small club? Do you ever regret your decision to become a PSG fan? Absolutely no. Absolutely no. I love this club. And no, I would never regret supporting Paris Saint-Germain. Well, that's been it for the Q&A. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Smash the like button if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the PSGINT YouTube channel. And as always, allez, allez, allez Paris.